Best.Podcast.Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
One of our core values is candor. I think that's the most important thing anybody can do in their life and in their business, and it's never, ever used. Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hi, Alex Gertzberg.
What's going on, dude?
Do you like my Christian Siriano T-shirt that I'm sporting?
It says "It Girl."
Yeah.
Are you an It Girl?
I am an It Girl.
What does one do to be an It Girl?
I think any girl can be an It Girl in their head. Yeah.
I'm so jarred by the images you showed me on your phone a few seconds ago. I can't think of anything else. I can't unsee what I just saw. I'm disturbed.
Very exciting. It's very exciting.
Would you like to tell our listeners at home what you forced me to look at on your phone?
Yeah. So we are doing a calendar. I had brought it up to Chief Zugan of the Chagrin Falls Fire Department a couple years ago, and that we need to do I probably proposed naked fireman calendar. I got half naked. So they are raising money for their facility. They're doing upgrades and updates and adding a women's quarter now because they have women firefighters. And he reached out and said, "Are you serious about doing it?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I called in the best, Rob Sapp. So he donated 2 days of his time. And it was probably a month ago. We took about 15 firemen, pictures all over. And then today was kind of our day that a couple couldn't do it. So it's for a calendar, which will come out in November. And I am telling you all, folks, it's steamy.
I mean, you could have warned a dude before you started.
Hey, you know what? Other than jealousy, you can appreciate beauty.
I will say this, Molly. I will say this, and I've said this for most of my adult life. Although I'm the furthest thing from gay, I do appreciate the male form.
Absolutely.
And in the sense of, people who take care of their bodies, right, I think are worthy of appreciation for their effort. And clearly the firemen of the Chagrin Falls Village Fire Department, for the most part, take care of their bodies.
Yeah.
So kudos to them and to you, Molly, for spending the afternoon
suffering
staring
through
at their
Rob Sapp
pecs.
And I literally and I will say a shout out to Rob Kurtz, who was our photographer today because Rob is away on a show. But we just all day. I've already gotten texts from Rob Kurtz like, okay, I can't believe that was my job today.
You got a rough.
It
Molly.
is good. But they were all told to just whatever Molly wants. So I would be like, hey, can you just go sit in the falls and put your head back? Whatever you want, Molly. I'm here for you.
Did you do a selfie with them?
I did.
Did they all have their shirts off?
Yeah.
Molly,
of course I did. Duh.
Your job is so difficult.
I know. Hey, raising money for a good cause. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Sometimes you just gotta roll up your sleeves, Molly, and just get to work.
Get down and dirty.
Get down and
dirty.
And
sweaty and yeah. So
hi, Molly Gebler. Good, man.
Good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you too.
Yes.
Do you have a good?
Maybe we shouldn't say Happy Monday because
whatever.
our listeners might be listening to happy whatever day you're listening to.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Happy day.
Happy day.
Yeah.
I had a good. I had a busy weekend. I had my 30th reunion, but I didn't go. You know what? There was
Molly. Can we talk about more events that you didn't do this weekend, please?
Well,
is there anything else you didn't do this
weekend?
weekend?
I think of Jim Finley saying that all we talk about is what we had for breakfast. So let's just talk about what Molly didn't do this weekend. No, I bring it up. 30 years. I wish I could have gone. I just couldn't. But a happy 30th reunion to my classmates of 1989 Lake Catholic High School. But I did watch the Emmys last night, and I have to say a couple things. One is, if you have not watched the speech of two different speeches, one was the gal from Mrs. Maisel, the agent, her agent, the the crass girl. Okay. I love her. She won. And she talked about her grandmother in line to be shot. She's a Holocaust survivor. And she said to the person shooting, "What happens if I step out of line?" And the gentleman shooting said, "I don't have the heart to shoot you, but somebody will." So she stepped out of line, and I still have chills. And that girl is standing on that stage because of an action that her mother or her grandmother made how many years ago. So she was just saying to all women, really to anybody, but she was saying to women that we need to step out of line more often, which I thought was, and she said, "I'm here and my children are here."
So she stepped out of the firing squad line,
yes.
and
she was going to be shot and put in a pit.
And the guy said, "If you step out of line, I'm not going to shoot you." But
I don't have the heart to shoot you, but somebody will shoot you. But no one did.
But no one did.
No one did.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. That's a good story.
Isn't that crazy? And then the other one is Billy Porter, who won for Pose, I believe is his show. First African-American gay guy to win. But he just said that everybody is worthy of anything. You know, he's worthy of this. We're all worthy. We're all worthy. And I just thought that, and he talked about being raised with, and you talk about a lot, the shit that we say to ourselves or that other people say about us that we believe. Right. And as soon as you clear all that stuff out, you'll realize that you were deserving. And I thought those were great speeches. And kudos to Christian Siriano, who dressed many of the stars last night. So it was always fun to text with Emily.
Was he at the Emmys?
He was not. He was at a pre-party hosted by Sterling Wine.
Okay.
And I know that because Emily had to run out and get cheese or some crackers for the party. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, yes. And then my other comment about it, thank you, Nellie. My other comment is, other than Saturday Night Live and This Is Us, that I know of, I mean, don't quote me on this, but nobody else was regular primetime TV.
In the sense that the other...
Up for awards. It was all Hulu, Amazon, Netflix. And I just feel like that something needs to be looked at. Or like, I am all for a joke that ends with you. It's probably funnier than a joke where you can't say you at the end. Like Channel 5 or Fox, they can't say you at the end. But they're up against a comedy show that can say, and I'm just saying...
Wait, but are you saying that when they are accepting their awards?
No, I'm saying they're
in general.
They're all up for, I'm Best Actress against, and I'm on a Fox TV show.
You're saying that,
and I'm against Sally Sue, who is on Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime, who can swear and show her boobs or do whatever.
But This Is Us won.
They didn't win.
Oh, I see. You're saying that like the streaming internet stuff has an advantage over the regulated.
I do think. I
really?
think that, yeah. I mean, come on. Come on. They have more freedoms. Absolutely, they have more freedoms.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what makes it more Emmy worthy. I don't think. You know what I mean? I don't think that makes it a better show.
I don't know. I think a joke. If I could say. I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I mean, it's showing it because the prime
Now,
times are not holding up.
But you can't attribute that necessarily. You could be right, but I don't think that there is a causal relationship between being able to swear in one forum
I'm
and not
using
in the
that
other.
Swear, show more freedoms, more liberties.
Well, here's
do
what I'll say
whatever
about
they
that.
want to do.
Here's what I'll say about that. I think that network television is being beaten out by the streaming stuff for different reasons, right? One is that they are at certain times of the week, and there's no binging that like there is with the streaming services. So we have a lot more freedom in how we watch the streaming
but you
stuff.
could do that on Hulu. I could
but not
stream
with the stuff,
Fox.
Yeah,
Because
but,
I watch my TV on Hulu.
okay, but what I'm saying, I guess, is all right. Like, so This Is Us.
So I can watch that anytime on Hulu.
But don't you have to still wait for the new episode to come out each week?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Whereas, like a lot of the other stuff, when it comes out on Hulu or
Some
for the
of them
first time,
release their whole season.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well,
right.
so there's that. I do think there is. It seems like it's easier to get a show up on one of those services than it is to break through the network bureaucracies, right?
Yeah, and they may have more money. There might be more money involved.
Well, I think that makes it easier to compete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like
all I was saying is it just changed the landscape of the Emmys a lot.
You know what I did this weekend?
What did you do this weekend?
Tiffany and I, we started the weekend at Sapphire Creek, right? Saw our friend Kim, told her she's got to come back on our podcast.
Excellent.
She said yes.
Excellent.
When's the last time you were over there?
It's been a while. I need to get over for my own sake.
I mean, you talk about royalty, right?
Yes.
I mean, so we've only recently started going there. That's where I proposed to Tiffany,
yes.
you know, and they did a great job there. That place is, it's probably, I've been in a lot of country clubs as a lawyer, Molly, you know, like I've had a lot of clients invite me,
fancy.
and firms that I used to work for had their events there. I mean, she has built back there what I would consider to be an event space and an architecture that is better than any country club I've ever been to. It is so elaborate and beautiful, and the customer service is fantastic. The food was amazing.
And she does such very cool events too. Like they had lobster on the lawn. I missed it, but not that long ago.
Yeah, it's like once a week they do something.
Yeah, they did picnics during the summer where you would literally order your picnic basket and it would be packed. And
I can really appreciate when somebody creates a space and everywhere you look, like you just turn your head and it just looks like a painting. It looks like a work of art.
Did you go downstairs to that? It's so gorgeous.
Everything about that place is truly artistic. Mm-hmm. You know, there's nothing that is just like four walls and a space. Mm-hmm. Everything has a unique aesthetic quality about it that I gotta.
So folks, Google it. It's in Bainbridge,
Sapphire Creek,
and it's when you go to it, you're going to think you're not headed in the right direction. It's in this industrial parkway. But how brilliant of them and the D'Angelos, Kathleen D'Angelo and her husband, you know, to see that space and say,
see the potential.
We can make this happen. I mean, brilliant.
So we did that.
Now my mouth is watering.
And
I don't think they're open on Mondays, so damn it.
Yeah. Then on Saturday we went downtown and we you see the scooters everywhere now downtown.
Really?
Have you seen all the scooters? Yeah. So I guess they're doing this test pilot program.
You know what? Now that you say that, yes.
So Tiffany and I, whenever we travel a fair amount. Whenever we go anywhere, if we see scooters, we're going scootering, right? Because you don't need You don't need to worry about driving and parking. The drinking and driving issue doesn't really, that's not there. You know what I mean? You shouldn't, I suppose, drink and scooter.
That's still there,
Still,
Chief.
it's actually a little dangerous.
Yeah.
But it was not an issue for us. We did a scooter pub crawl, just she and I, through Tremont and then through downtown. We ended up at that bar at the top of the Hilton, and it was just kind of like a self-guided scooter tour of Cleveland. It was so sick.
I love it.
Awesome.
There are little people down there. Well, they're not little people, but people down there that guide that you could get free guided tours.
On the scooters?
No, just walking, and they're walking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with downtown Cleveland.
Okay. Whatever.
I've been there once or twice.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
But
asshole.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then yesterday, have you been to Manaway recently?
No.
You know why? Because no one's been to Manaway recently. It looks
Mantua?
Yeah, they like it. They call it Manaway.
I know.
I mean, I would call it Mantua, and I think the Italian city for which it was named, I think those people call it Mantua also.
And were you lost?
No,
What's going on?
Took a Harley ride. We got on the Harley, and we went out there because it was a beautiful day. And the reason, the destination was that there is a new coffee shop there, and it's called Restoration 44. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what we did
cute.
yesterday.
You like to go to your little small town.
We do. We like exploring
coffee shops.
Well, our thing is it's there's a coffee shop stop where she'll do some working and I'll do some writing, and then we'll do that for a couple hours. Then we'll walk around the town for a bit, and then we'll have dinner there. Except it's Manaway on a Sunday, so there wasn't any dinner, but there was a bar.
I think there's a McDonald's there, isn't there?
There is a McDonald's.
Yeah.
We went to this tavern, which is a hole in the wall, mother of all hole in the walls. Yeah. And there was this dude sitting there. There was Tiffany and me, and then two other dudes at this bar sitting on the opposite sides of the bar. And this one dude bought us and the other dude this game where it's this little bucket with 5 die in it, right? And you shake it up and you turn it over, and if 4 of the 5 die match, then you get a free beer. If 5 of 5 die match, then you get 2 beers, and everybody else in the bar gets 1. So I got it. I got it.
You got all 5?
No, I got 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5? Oh my
But we had already drank a beer, and I was on the bike, so we gave our beer to the one other dude.
You were making friends.
I know.
I love that.
Yeah, those guys were a trip.
I love that.
And it would be tragic for me not to say that on Thursday night, I read Mortimer to young Maya Gertzberg.
Oh my gosh, and sent me a picture.
You wrote such a good story there, Molly.
Thank
Mortimer.
you.
Maya was like so invested in his emotional journey in that book.
I love that. He was sad.
He was sad. He was so sad.
He didn't look like the other kids.
Yeah.
Did you get Little Pumpkin yet? Your dad has it.
I have not.
Papa G has it.
So that one's out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the third one or the fourth?
That's the third one.
Okay.
Papa G has it. Yes.
Oh, we'll have to get
It'll
that
be
one.
interesting if you enjoy that one because you're, from Bainbridge and the pumpkin world isn't as.
Well, I mean, look, all of the books so far has been very Chagrin Falls.
Yes.
Favor.
But there's a little surprise in the Little Pumpkin.
Okay.
That will hopefully, if Maya's pumpkin gets taken, it may help offset that a little bit.
All right. Fair enough.
So Papa G has it, but Papa G's off vacationing again somewhere, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, and I should know.
I can't keep up with that one. Those two,
man,
they are travelers, man.
I don't know where they are right now.
I'm going to come back as
they
them.
do this thing. It pisses me off, man. Like the fact that I don't know where my parents are right now becomes the seed of a major guilt trip that is now coming down the
How could
pipe.
you not? They post the pictures on Facebook.
Well, I don't really pay attention.
I know I'm pretty sure they're not here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Are they in Florida?
I don't know. It's really hot in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah. They're in somewhere where there's a lot of Hebrew written signs.
Could be
the
anywhere.
last one I saw, Mama was sitting at a table and there was a sign behind him that was written in Hebrew, I think.
Right now, my dad is listening to this, head shaking so much.
I would be disappointed too, Papa G.
It's about to swivel off of his neck.
I love you, and I know where you are, kind of, sort of, but at least I know you're out of the state.
There's Hebrew written wherever.
Yes, at least I could,
Lord.
Find you if I needed to. Alex doesn't even know you're gone. Oh my goodness!
Anywho,
yes. So our guest, speaking of Hebrew, no, I have no idea. I don't know.
There's nothing Hebrew about.
Okay.
I don't know. He might be Jewish. I doubt it though. Brian Krusz. I'm gonna guess. Let's take a guess at where his last name comes from. I'm gonna say it's
German.
No, I want to say like a Croatian, Serb. I'm gonna say Serbian because it's spelled Kruz. So it was probably like a Krusz.
Okay.
Like that. I'm gonna go Serb.
Okay, I
hope I don't get that wrong because the Serbs and the Croats,
they don't like each
they're
other.
not fans of each other.
I'm gonna go with Croatian then. Then we can cover our bases. And whatever he is, it doesn't matter
because he's here. He's our guest, and we love him no matter what.
Yes.
Brian Krusz, co-founder of Sgt. Clean's Car Wash.
Love the title.
Yeah. Man, this business, Molly, has been blowing up. I mean, I don't know how many car washes he's up to, but I think it's more than a handful.
1, 2, 3. Westlake, Parma, Strongsville, Medina, Massillon, and Green.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Where's Green?
Green is by Akron.
And
it's
what does he
Akron.
have against the east side?
I don't know. I bet you he's got his sights on something because he's like on a shopping spree of car washes.
Okay.
They've won a ton of awards. Smart Business gave him a one. He's in the Inc. 5000.
He's in your Weatherhead.
In the Weatherhead 100. I want to talk to him about that. Him and the Gertzberg Law Firm are in good company.
He's number 6.
I know. I don't think
I didn't know their numbers.
Yeah. Winner of Best Car Wash on Cleveland's Hot List for 3 years in a row, 2016 and 2018.
That's pretty awesome.
Somebody called it the Netflix of car washes.
I need to know more about that.
I mean, I can only imagine that means that he's just like blowing up the car wash scene, right?
Gotcha.
We'll find out.
All right.
He's also an executive board member of a veterans group called 23rd Veteran, which helps vets with living with trauma, which I can't wait to talk to him about. And then there's his service on behalf of Cozy and the Greater Cleveland Partnership, Rotary. He is a busy, prolific, and successful cat. And let's bring him in here.
All right.
Brian Krusz, we were just debating what nationality we think your last name.
I would like to change my
Change your
choice based on his look. I'm going to go somewhere in the Irish or the Scotland area.
I'm not
stick with yours.
I'm not going to tell him what my guess was because,
right.
well, not that he would change his answer just to, but
right.
All
just
right,
make it
just
up.
so you
right,
wouldn't win.
You go. What?
Well, it's kind of a trick. My real last name is Kruszewski, which is Polish.
Oh,
damn it!
Oh, trick question.
yeah.
Damn it!
But I got the Krusz part right. I said it was going to be. Here, I'm going to put this on here so
thanks.
it doesn't make noise.
Yeah, I go by Krusz because it's a lot easier to say and spell.
Gotcha.
It associates me with Tom
Okay,
Cruise, which is,
Yeah.
that's where I got all the good looks from.
Yes.
We were just saying, did Tom Cruise walk in here,
Right.
or where's our guest?
That's what we were saying. Yep.
Brian, on your birth certificate, does it say Kruszewski or Krusz?
Kruszewski.
So that still is
Correct.
Oh, so Brian Krusz is your stage name.
Alias.
It's alias.
Yes.
It's
I
brilliant.
love that. So when you fill out like paperwork, I don't know what, and it says, do you go by any other name? You'd have to say that.
Yeah, I guess I would.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Because I always wonder what other name would people want to go?
Here's the thing, Brian. You are owner and operator of a wildly successful entrepreneurial venture, right? That is 6 years old.
Correct.
2013. How many did we count, Molly? Six
You
stores?
counted, I read.
That's true. 6 stores, 6 car washes today?
Yeah, we just acquired our 6th store last Monday.
Is
we've
that
had
in
growth.
Green?
That's in Green, Ohio, and Uniontown technically is the address. But
And
it's in Green.
what's wrong with the east side?
We'll eventually make it there.
Okay. All right.
We're kind of doing a U. So we've tackled the west side, coming down now in the Akron-Canton area, and you never know. Maybe we'll head up and head east.
Is it that West Siders have dirtier cars? That can't be it.
Because by the time I
comment.
use my lovely coupon, my drive back, my car will be messy again.
Well, it'll keep us in business.
That's
Hey, well, let me ask you a question. Does Waterway have car washes out by, like on the west side and the south side? There's 2 out here.
Yeah, they're primarily east side.
Okay.
They are building one in the Parma area, about 3.5 miles north of our facility, but they mostly stick to the east side.
So I want you to come to the east side and beat the crap out of Waterway, and here's why. Okay? Because I feel like they've got something going here in the sense that, like, when I take my car to a car wash, I actually like all the personal service that comes out at the end. I like the dudes coming out and,
And they're all very handsome, according to my daughters. So
But
that's
here-
another tip for you.
But
Hire
here's what I
handsome
don't
kids.
like. I don't like that they're like. Are your car washes part of gas stations or like?
No.
All right. See, I feel like when I'm getting my car washed at Waterway, that I'm really getting my car washed at like the get go. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
You need something
do.
to drink?
No, I was
saying I
just
sound like I'm
referring.
drunk?
No, I was just referring to your coffee habits. But
Oh, I've changed those.
yes.
Thanks to you, Molly.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I no longer
Go to the Green
go to
Monster.
Starbucks.
Don't even say that.
Well, I got my coffee here local in your office.
Yes, that is. It doesn't get any local than that.
Right out of the Keurig.
Why? Can we just start? Like, why car washes? Where's your background? Do people have a background in cars? Do you like cars? What do we
Believe
got?
it or not, they actually have a car wash college that I went to. My wife thought I was
Stop
some
it.
fictitious university, but if we were to, but there actually is a car wash college in Florida. We went there for a new investor seminar, repair and maintenance course. Take care of all the equipment. And then they have Management 1, Management 2 courses. Sonny's Direct is a large manufacturing company, and they distribute and manufacture car wash equipment all over the world. So when we first got into this, we actually went to car wash college.
I love that.
Which is weird. My wife thought it was a fictitious place in Florida where, we're drinking beer, playing golf, and then we mentioned the word car wash once a day.
Exactly.
5 days later, we come back home. But I never visioned growing up car washing. Never would I think, I always get asked, what's your 3-year goal, 5-year goal? I would have never said car washing. It probably would have been on the list at the bottom 50 of that list. So how it kind of all came to be is I worked for corporate America for a good point of time. 2008, the financial crisis hit. Well, I was an executive banking recruiter, and they were letting everyone in the banking world go. And I was the low man on the totem pole, and away I went as well. And my best friend and current business partner had some beverage drive-through stores. I partnered up with him. We went from 2 to 3 to 4. And I'm big on knowledge is power. That all happened when I was in the Marine Corps. So I went to this ongoing education through a convenience store business. And when I was there, I bumped into a gentleman, and he said, I've got gas stations and C-stores and car washes. You should go to Atlantic City, learn more about it. And mind you, we were in Vegas. So, these conventions are never horrible places.
Right.
So several weeks later, I came back, and we went to a convention in Atlantic City and fell in love with the industry. People from all walks of life, just open and elicit information from them, made me feel very comfortable. And one of the distributors we met was born and raised in Strongsville, currently lived in Pittsburgh, and said, man, I got just the car wash for you if you want to try things out. And that was March 1st of 2013.
And then you went home to your wife and said, I'm going to buy a car wash.
Yeah, that was...
What was that like?
That was
Break that
September,
down.
October. My wife, I reference her as Mother Teresa. I actually was talking to her on the way. She is you know, and I could say that about my mom. She is one step lower than my mother. She is fantastic. She was just, my dad had surgery, so she was over there mowing and doing grass maintenance at my dad's house, and called me before I came in here. So she is just fantastic. Well,
what's your wife's name?
Melissa.
Nice job, Melissa.
Melissa.
Jeez, oh man.
Yeah, she makes me look bad.
Okay.
But nonetheless, you know, I went there and just fell in love with it, and I called her, and she's like, her first instinct was, whatever, this is your world, I just live in it. And she just saw the passion.
Were you jobless at this point?
No, I had been laid off for less than 24 hours.
Okay.
Being a Marine, I'm big on adversity and overcoming challenges. So literally the next day I enrolled in college. I went to work, and I was even painting home. I remember I was painting homes, cutting grass, any type of landscaping to earn a dollar.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I partnered with Andrew, my business partner, with the beverage drive-through stores. And then we went to this convention, fell in love, and then I called my wife and said, I think we're going to get into the car wash industry. And she's like, yeah, okay, what do you know about car washing? And then, you know, which led earlier on when I said to Car Wash College, I think that's very important, even outside looking into any industry. And I'm sure it's the same for Alex. Once he got into law, you know, he practiced somewhere, clerked somewhere, got involved with legal aspects of life, and said, this is something that I want to kind of attach myself to, and became more and more knowledgeable about the subject. And then, you know, here he is. It was the same way for us, you know, once we got in involved, and it's been great. You know,
I want to come back to that, but sort of by reverse engineering this next question. Talk about what makes, there's car washes everywhere, right? What makes your processes and brand of car wash different than any other car wash, and what's been responsible for its growth? And then talk about how you got there from that day.
Well, 6 years ago, when we had acquired our first location, backing up even 3 months before we owned the facility, we said, what's car washing? How do we do it? What does it look like? And I had met some really good people in Atlantic City during that convention in October. So I actually went and traveled everywhere, all over throughout the Midwest, from Chicago, met a lot of really good people that have been doing it way longer than I've been alive. And my wife referred to it as a nerd journal. I opened it up, and the left was all pros and the right was all cons. And I visited all of these car wash operators to know what was good, bad, and ugly in the industry. And I picked up on different ways by saying, okay, I'm definitely going to do this. Like the guys and gals were in uniform. There was a training program. I'm definitely going to give them these opportunities and work my butt off so that they have, and I'm able to provide them with 401ks, healthcare, you know, true benefits to make this a career path. And then the other side, it was the cons, where some locations I went to, team members could just smoke wherever they wanted. They were not in uniform. They used vulgarity, just things that I knew that would not work out, or owners that were completely disattached from the business. And I thought, okay, here's what we're going to do. So I had a good framework there. When I came back to Ohio, we did a survey in the Midwest to just say, the consumer study, tell us about car washing. Well, it was pretty nasty.
You did your own survey, or you?
There was actually a survey that we did. I can't even remember the actual company that we used, but we paid for it. It was about, I think it was less than $2,000, $1,500, $2,000. And when the survey came back, it was pretty nasty. People did not appreciate car washing. It was nasty, grungy, dirty. I'll use the E word, but horrible employees, tattoos on their face and neck, and chain smoking, and just this negative persona. And I thought, wow, this is awesome. I just got into the worst industry in the entire world. But that, to answer your question, that became our flagship.
And it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah. We said it back then in March of 2013, and we still say it today, every day, is change the face of car washing. And that's what our company is doing, you know, and that's what we did. And that's the growth has allowed that, where we put people in uniform, teach them proper training, you know, not only the soft skills in life, but also the things that are going to make our customers special, where we have customer service training, and then car wash safety training, specifics to what we do inside the facility, so that we do it the best and the best way. Because traditionally in car washing, if you're the new team member and you come on board, well, the senior guy kind of trains you. And if he's horrible at training, how do you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to start everybody out on the good foot, off on the right foot.
So give us like the top 3 or 4 distinctions. Like I'm the customer. I'm taking my car to you instead of to, some car wash down the street. Mm-hmm. What is my customer experience like, and how is it different from the guy down the street?
We talk about it's the wow factor. And that's the difference between your idea and thought of what was going to be delivered today when you came to the car wash and what you actually got. So we're going to be smiling. We're going to be fun-loving, energetic, making eye contact to you. We're going to be in uniform, clean-cut, energized, and give you a good, happy experience. We use that as reciprocity. So when you come in, we want to provide the best capable service that we can. You're going to get what you came in for. So we're going to give you a high-quality car wash. But part of our mission statement is the being role models in our community. So when you get off work at 8:01, we want you to have a good head on your shoulder and not turn into a knucklehead. And we want that the same when you clock in at 7:01 the next day. So by providing that role model type environment for our team, so when a customer comes in, they're seeing this is great customer service. These guys are fun. They're exciting. They're smiling. They're giving me exactly what I came for. There's no hardcore pressure of sales. We have an unlimited program. It's just very nonchalant, casual. And then also the bells and whistles and the quality that goes with the car wash. But when you had referenced earlier other opportunities and other business models, we just got real focused, laser focused on what we do well is customer service, taking care of the exterior of the vehicle, and letting the consumer, by the utilization of our free vacuums, let them do the inside. We'll take care of the outside and get it clean, dry, shiny, fast, easy, and convenient. And that's what we do well.
I always say, Molly will verify this for me if she was paying attention, which I think she half the time does.
I see her taking notes.
I tell my lawyers all the time, there's 10,000 of us in this town, right? Or more. And just providing good legal service is actually not that hard. And that is not what will distinguish us from the other 10,000. Mm-hmm. It's the emotional experience that people have when they walk through the door and when they leave here. It's the feeling they have. Did we help them in some other way? Did we go above and beyond? Did we treat them really, really well? That's the part that's going to resonate with them and stay with them and make them tell their friends about it. It's not just the car wash itself. It's the emotional experience they have when they're there and how they're spoken to and how they're addressed. Right? I mean, it sounds like that's kind of something you're tapping into.
But how do you keep that consistent? Because you're a seasonal business. So now your person who you've primed needs to not work with you for the next 3 months or whatever. And how do you keep them motivated and come back excited, or, keep them basically, because they might go find something that's full-time and not seasonal?
Actually, all of our car washes are full-time. All of our team members are 40 plus hours.
Okay. So you can come get a car wash in the winter?
Yes. That's actually when it's funny, as the consumer.
See how often I get a car wash?
I would think.
See, when the
busiest time of the year is the winter, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Being in Ohio.
I don't wash my car.
It's because John washes your car.
No. I just don't wash my car. I don't know.
Well, by the end of this podcast, I will get you washing.
Get me washing.
I will get you washing. I got many, many, many
God,
reasons.
You know who washes my car? God does.
God does?
With the rain.
Well, being that we're in Ohio, it's actually a 4-season state. You don't think a lot about it. And as a consumer, it was funny. When we first bought our car wash, remember I mentioned in March?
Right.
We thought just like you. Aha. This crazy lady is selling her car wash. We're going right into the prime season. And she turned around when I made that comment and laughed at me. And she said, honey, we just came out of the prime season. So in the state of Ohio, the busy time is ramped around November, so right around Thanksgiving. And it goes all the way till about March or April.
Because of salt and stuff?
The salt, the sludge.
Gotcha.
And then when we go to the spring and summer, so we've got pollen, we've got the bugs, and just the oxidation, just on a regular basis. So we want to actually educate the consumer more. And that's kind of our job to the branding and coming a little outside the box than traditional. Well, it's nice. It's in the summer. I got to keep my car clean. In actuality, it's nicer. So it's nicer for a long period of time versus the winter. Like Alex would know, every 2 days it's going to snow. Every 2 days the slush or the salt's going to get on you. So you're washing more and more frequent. So it's kind of it makes you scratch your head to think, but I scratched my head.
I
just
withdraw
the same.
my question, Your Honor.
No, you're good. You're good. No, please ask,
Brian. How did your time in the Marines inform the way you do business?
Well, I don't run it like a drill instructor. Okay. I want to make sure that all the guys and gals. Actually, there's 87 of us now that run. That work for Sergeant Clean's Car Wash. Was just. That's the intangible, rewards that I get to put on the shelf is that there's 87 lives that we get an opportunity to change and influence. And those 87 people get to influence all of the consumers that come in. So I know I went off on a little rabbit hole.
No, I love the way you said that, though. That's a great, we are constantly over here talking about impact. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the reasons why you're sitting in that chair answering our inane questions right now is because we love talking to people.
That was rude. I know you looked at me when you said that.
Molly, don't get paranoid. I was talking about our inane questions, mostly Molly's. Listen, no, the fact that you view your role with your company as having a responsibility to those 87 people and to help change their lives is huge. Yeah. But how did your time in the military inform how you run your business now?
First thing that comes to mind is accountability. There was no, oops, I screwed up in the Marines, and especially what I did. You were held accountable for your actions. The backbone of the Marine Corps is honor, courage, and commitment, and it makes just perfect sense. You want to honor one another, honor the service that you're in. You're being committed to one another, committed to the mission at hand, and having the courage to stand up. One of our core values is candor. I think that's the most important thing anybody can do in their life and in their business, and it's never, ever used. In the Marine Corps, it's used every single day. Right. They have candid conversations. Yeah. It's specific, straight to the point. Obviously, because in some situations, people can die if the situation's not there. And there's some cases where it's not. If the paper was filed wrong or whatever, or you're missing something, we'll find it to be replaced. But
it's interesting because my experience in the military, the starkest contrast that I can ever point to is no filter, huge filter. In the private sector professional world, everything goes through a filter. In the military, no filter ever, right? But the other thing that I imagine, tell me if this is accurate, I learned in the Army to despise bureaucracy and red tape, and I saw how it slowed everything down to a grinding halt. And now I feel like because of my experience there, I can spot it and I can try to cut through it a lot more aggressively than I otherwise might. Do you find that to be true? Like just in terms of building efficiencies?
Part ways. I think it's just about being proactive. So, to your point, once you've been in that situation, you can see, okay, it's coming down the pipe here. I need to make sure I kind of go a little outside the lines here and then get back in where, where it's appropriate, maybe, preface the conversation, multiple ways to kind of get what you want. But yeah, not as much. When I was in, it was from 98 until 2006 when I got out. And the last 3 years I was a recruiter and met my wife down there. So we decided to transition out. But yeah, it's definitely different. You know, when I went to boot camp in 98, I saw the immediate change from 2004, 2005. We took educators in our communities and we would take them to Parris Island just to kind of show them they could be better educated about them. Maybe we could do that with her for car washing. You can come and see that we're, we can wash more than just a couple days out of the year.
I need to go to car wash school, I think.
But yeah,
I think I've been schooled right here by you two. On car washes.
As soon as we get done, we're leaving and you're getting a car wash. If I have to do it myself, we're going to figure it out.
Oh, God did it this morning. I'm all set.
You got to put something on the east side, Brian.
I know.
You know what I mean? We will be there every day. We will be your biggest fans.
We do have a local car wash, which I just need to, because they're a chamber member. So we do have a local Chagrin Auto Spa.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're a one-man show, though, I believe.
Gotcha. Is it the one on Washington Street?
Yeah, in East Washington. Okay. He also owns all the porta potties.
Do you think he would sell his car wash to Brian?
I don't know.
We should talk. Speaking of buying car washes, Brian, all of yours were acquisitions, or did you build any from scratch?
Correct. Yeah, this is our 6th acquisition, technically our 7th. We had bought our 2nd facility in Strongsville and owned 2, but every one of them has been a previously open car wash. I was going to say distressed. I'd say would probably be a better word. Some of them have been a great opportunity, and we've just walked in and it's been smooth sailing. Good team members that are there, and some of them have been a little bit of a rocky, but every one has been a pre-existing car wash that we've taken over.
Your first one was
in Strongsville, and then when I mentioned the other one on the other end of Strongsville, we had bought a smaller facility. It was doing great, and we ended up closing that, turning into a maintenance storage area. Our maintenance men work in and out of there. Just because the southern one, we owned more property, and we decided to make a big investment. So we tore down a lot of the trees in the back, deep in the parking lot, put in about 20 free vacuums and more equipment. We knew we can get more throughput and capacity there. So it was a very, very tough business decision, but we ended up closing that facility. We called it a moving, not a closing. So we moved everyone from North Strongsville down to the South Strongsville car wash, and then we still utilize that kind of as storage and warehouse.
Well, I got to tell you, you're 6 years in business and you're averaging an acquisition a year, and having done a lot of M&A as an attorney, what I can tell you is that is highly unusual, right? Highly unusual from day one to start buying competitors and converting them to your own system, your own process, before you really even, before you've tested out your own process for a number of years to make sure you have such faith, right? Such religious faith in your own system to know that I'm going to buy that guy and I'm going to convert him to my own system and I'm going to make it work. And then I'm going to do it 5 more times. That is a difficult and unusual proposition. I commend you for it.
What's the biggest challenge for all that you have found?
The different cultures. When we take over, we've got a special culture. We've got a special standards that we live by. And I just interviewed a gentleman today on the phone, and we're going to meet tomorrow. My job's to talk you out of working here. I tell every one of our applicants. I did that when I was in the Marine Corps.
Talk you out of working here?
Correct. So when I get someone on the phone and they want to work at Sgt. Clean's Car Wash, I kind of think of it as nasty. The first question I ask after building a little rapport is, Molly, why in the heck a car wash? Well, just like it's the most disgusting place to work in your entire life. And I did that in the Marine Corps. Well, why would you want to join the Marines? Do you know how hard it is? And I would just be realistic and be real with these kids that are in high school and in college, and I would gauge their level of what, if they want to be part of it or not. And then for us at the car wash, how it relates, if their answers are, why do you want to join a car wash? Why do you want to work at a car wash? If there's anything tangible, like I need a job, I want to get an hourly rate, I want benefits, I'm pretty much going to say, thank you for coming. Have a good day. If anything thereafter is, I love people, I love working outside, I love smiling, I love cars, anything that I can't teach anybody, I could teach you how to load and send cars, how to give our effective greeting, how to empty the trash, how to do, other janitorial items. But I can't teach anybody how to smile. I can't teach people, how to love others. So that's what we look for. So the cultural guesswork when you buy a new dealership, right? That's the hardest. Yeah, blending those cultures.
Yeah,
those cultures together.
It's always a little bit of a gamble. Right, you assume when you look at the numbers, and when you have faith in your own system and your own processes, you assume that you're going to be able to make it work. But you always leave in the back of your mind the possibility that there's something I don't know, right? Or that maybe I'm stretching myself too thin. Or do you have those?
My
doubts?
wife could tell you that. She thinks. I just get up and I hustle. And I say I selfishly, but we right. as Sgt. Cleans get up and hustle every single day. And that's the type of culture that we want to create. We want to create the band of brothers just like the Marine Corps, Henry V, he had got up and gave his speech to his guys that were outnumbered, and the French were on there. They were ready to go to battle, and here their guys are walking around already defeated. We don't have enough men. I wish we had these, all these nobles to come fight, and they're back in England doing their thing. And Henry V said, no, we're going to do what we got to do right here with us. And that's the same mentality. I get actually goosebumps talking about it, but that's the mentality that we want to create within our company, that we'll do more with less than have one or two extra knuckleheads that are going to screw up this opportunity and just mess up the culture that we work so hard to do.
And I mean, let's be honest, he knows a little bit about hustling. I mean, he is on the Cozy Committee Board. He is on the Strongsville City School District Financial Committee Board, currently still. Greater Cleveland Partnership member, Rotarian for Strongsville, the executive board member for 23rd Veterans. These are all current board positions. So I would say he knows you don't just hustle in your business, you hustle in your life.
Yeah, and I try to do the same with my family. Where there's time away from them, obviously I'm doing the list that you have there, or spending time with our team, but my grandfather said, and he died young at 69. He said, you're around one time, make it a good time. And Amen. It's one of the questions that we asked during the interview process is, it's going to sound a little morbid, but let's pretend we're writing your eulogy. How do you want to be remembered? And that's the type of people I want to get real deep inside these individuals and see where their passion lies, because those are the type of people that aren't going to look and go, okay, when is 5 o'clock? Okay, it's 5:01. Boom, they're out of here. Mm-hmm. I want the guy to look at his watch and go, oh my gosh, it's 5:45. I worked 45 extra minutes. I'm probably going to get in trouble for working overtime. That's the mentality that I want. Uh-huh. So by setting the example, I think is really important. And I say, like I said, there's other, senior executives besides myself that set very good examples for our team to see and emulate. And being a role model is in our mission statement. It's very, very important to us. Do
you hire veterans? Is that part of your mission at all?
We'd love to. We have some current veterans and some past veterans, some that actually were looking at high school or even college that I've helped sign up and go into the Air Force, the Army, one Marine.
Once a recruiter, always a recruiter.
Yeah,
huh?
So I'm always happy to do that. And that's the same thing, too, with the car wash. I always joke and say, hey, if you're here for 10 days, 10,000 days, whatever, I want you to be good at what you do and be excited. So the minute you lose passion about what you do with people and with washing cars, let me know. I'll definitely help you transition out, and I have.
Right. So. And I would assume some majority of your workers are probably in that millennial stage of life. How do you manage that? I know in the chamber that's definitely an issue in a lot of our industries, a frustration, I would say, especially in the healthcare and the landscaping world. Assuming that's probably some of the same employees you're employing. How do you overcome that?
It's tough. I'm actually a millennial, so okay. I'm right on that tail end. One of the first parts that they gave us is being a millennial, and
you are certainly not a millennial by any example of a millennial.
I think it just goes back to candor. So during the interview process, we've got some high school students or some early aged college students that work, and we talk about just that. Do you know what people are saying about you? Do you know what maybe not you specifically, but do you know what others say about your generation? And I want to hear their perspective. And they're going to probably say, and I've asked this a lot, their general answers are, we're always on our phone, we're really selfish, we're all about us, we're all about the money, we want to get paid for 50 hours but only work 20. And once somebody gets and relates that, my immediate answer is, okay, well, let's squash them. Let's figure out the naysayers and let's prove them wrong. Show me what you can do. And then I always ask, tell me, what are you going to do different? How are you going to handle your cell phone? How are you going to handle actually working 25 hours a week and not raising your hand to be the first one to go? Prove it. Mm-hmm. And then if they're actually proving it to themselves, that's the only one that needs to be proven. I don't care what they tell me. They tell the chair here in the office. They physically need to be part of telling that to themselves. And sometimes I'll even jokingly, during the interview, which my interviews are unorthodox, I'll have them go to the bathroom and stare at the mirror. They'll answer the question. They'll look at me and I'll go, get up and go to the bathroom. I don't need that answer. You do. And I'll say either you stare at the mirror or you can keep walking down the hallway and never come back. Doesn't matter to me. And every time I talk to somebody or they come in the office, it may seem harsh, but I'll say, if this job's not for you, I know you're not going to tell me in person. So just never call me back. And that's fine. I don't want to waste, anyone's time. Time is the most valuable resource. So, and I really appreciated that when I did my travels to all those owner-operators in the Midwest. They took time away from their family, away from their business, away from their team members to spend it with me. And that's when I really got the value to understand what time really is. Because as a child, you don't. My kid has no clue. He's 3 and 7. Both of them have no idea of time. Mm-hmm. And when we all get older, time just... It goes away.
How active are you in because you've got, what did we say, 6, Alex?
6 stores, yeah.
So how are you traveling? What's your day like? Are you traveling to all of them? Are these staff members seeing you and you're an active part of their day?
I try to ride that fine line between empowerment and engagement. I don't want to show up enough to where they're looking at me and going like, oh, here he goes. He's going to be here 2 days from now and 2 days from now. So I randomly show up at all of our facilities. When we had about 3 or 4, I literally was at every one of those washes every week because I wanted to let them know. So what I do now is I randomly pop in between these locations. And I feel like a mayor, like I'm running for mayor or running for council because I'm just out there talking to the men and women that work for us. I know them all by name. And so I'm just trying to relate to, when they got hired, what they're doing, maybe a recent mystery shopper, report or how they're doing in their sales and just ask, just talk. If I see something, I always write it down and bring it up to our operations manager. I never just get involved like, oh, hey, can you pick up the trash or how about these weeds? I bring it up because that's his job.
Right.
So I just try to do the best I can and just interact. And what Andrew, my business partner, sometimes says to me that I should not do, but I do all the time, is I let them know where I've been and what I'm doing. Because as a team member getting paid, $10, $11 an hour, or $12 working the pay station or working at the facility, you always think, well, the owner's on his yacht and in a private plane and he's got which Mercedes or, whatever. Well, I've got a Honda Accord. I want them to see that I've got a black Honda Accord, that I've been recruiting and trying to find team members. I know you guys are in a need, for instance, at Parma. And here next week, I've got this, or we've got a new acquisition, so I'm going to spend a little extra time there because it's just letting them know. I don't need to do that.
Right.
But I think it's just important because have you guys heard of the Russian doll syndrome?
Sure, Alex has.
No, the Russian dolls, those nesting dolls, you put one inside the other. And so what's the syndrome?
That's what business owners think they need to have. They need to be the biggest doll, and everyone below them is just one notch smaller, all the way to the tiniest of the dolls. And you're not supposed to go outside of that realm, where I'm in the middle of that. I've got other dolls that are way bigger and smarter than me I was going to say Steve Bezos, Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs. They said, you want to hire a bunch of smart people to have them tell me what to do.
Right.
And that's the same philosophy that I want to be. The engagement needs to go both ways. They need to know what I'm doing. And I'd like for them to know where I've been and what they're doing, is important to me.
Do you have a home? Is there one central home office that you work out of? Yeah,
mostly in Westlake. So we have our Tuesday meetings there, our operations meetings. So I'll randomly, for the same reasons, I'll pop in and out of those to not be too heavily involved, in what's going on there, but just enough to know that I'm engaged. I'm part of the process. I'm not disillusioned. And then we have a monthly all hands where I will be present, and all the site leaders are there. They're representing, and we go over the last month's goals, this month's goals, things that are going to work on, things that you did wrong, and how you're going to course correct them for the following month. And then generally it's already a week and a half in. So how are you doing so far towards your goals? And just like I told you, when you asked about the Marine Corps, it's about holding people accountable. Yeah. They want it. When I interview people, I always ask, what would you want from me or my management team in order to do your job best? The number one answer is feedback. Tell me if I'm doing right or wrong, provide examples and train me.
Brian, our crack research department, who you met in the hallway earlier, uncovered this quote about you guys. It's and we don't know where it came from, but it's fascinating. Someone described Sergeant Clean as the Netflix of car washes.
Wow.
Have you heard that before?
Yes, I have.
All right.
Yeah.
So who said it and why? What is the, my imagination is going in different places, but what makes, well, first, who said it? Do you know?
I don't recall offhand.
Okay.
Does it mean that people binge you?
Yeah.
there you go.
What is the, why are you the Netflix of car washing?
I know as a gentleman, I think there was an article that was written on us, if I recall. Not that I'm like, here I sound like conceited, like, oh, there was probably an article.
It was. It probably was.
I can't remember all the things that are going on. Like,
people are always comparing us to streaming services.
Yeah, like a simple small business like Netflix. Oh, pardon me. I think it's just from, I would say, to think more about that article was that the direct correlation is that we're fast, we're convenient, just like Netflix. I mean, you can go home, not as convenient, but click on there and watch any show, any movie. You can binge watch, The Walking Dead.
Downton Abbey is what.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
And it's convenient. You can, there's no contract. You can cancel. You can start up. You can do that anywhere.
Okay.
And it's the same thing, with us. If you, look to the correlation. Fast, easy, and convenient. We have an RFID sticker that gets placed in your vehicle. Unlimited car washing starting at $19.97. You can use all of our facilities. There's no contract. Cancel whenever you want. Upgrade, downgrade your plan. So very similar, business model. We studied quite a bit on Netflix and Hulu as well as Chick-fil-A. Our goal is to be the Chick-fil-A of car washing. So I know quite a bit of owners, and my wife just shakes her head. But I'll go into a Chick-fil-A and ask who the owner is and try to get their contact info. And a lot of these people think I'm trying to sell them something, but all I want to do is pick their brain.
Wait a second. Hold on. So, no, it sounds like the Netflix of car washes comes from the plans that you've got. So you've got like an unlimited, all you can eat. You give me $20 a month and we'll wash your car all day. Why Chick-fil-A?
I love the story, the history. They are a Christian-ran company, so our values and principles are the same. And we just want people to love what they do. And, you go to Chick-fil-A, they're my pleasure. Can I help you? I'd like some ketchup. No problem. They'll walk over to you. Do you guys know Bob Farrell? If I mentioned that, Farrell's part of our training. And we just
chocolate?
No, they have, it's kind of like a TGI Fridays, Applebee's of their era. They were on the West Coast. And they had a little ice cream like set up to a little parlor. And it's back in the day. And this gentleman owned them named Bob Farrell. And one day he got an upset letter from a customer saying, I'm never going to come back. And this is a gentleman, Bob Farrell, who opened his second store, and he's thinking, oh my gosh, customers hate me. This is the worst thing in the world. Well, a customer had asked for an extra side of pickles. Well, this waitress said, if you want more pickles, it's $1.50 or $2. I got to charge you. Well, his flagship, just like ours, became give them the pickle. If the customer's here and they want something, just make it right. If the car's messed up, rewash it. If they're really upset, give them their money back. Give them whatever they need. If the free vacuums are clogged up, or we need to get someone who's been there out longer, we'll back them out. We'll get somebody in there. What's fair is fair. But that's the training that we do, is just give them the pickle.
Yeah. That's like is that the Ritz-Carlton where they empower everyone down to the janitor to comp a room to anyone that complains about anything?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's that model. All right. We're going to take a very short break. We'll be right back, folks. Hey, folks. Alex Gertzberg here. I am CEO of the Gertzberg Law Firm and Cover My Six, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I wanted to take a quick second to tell you about something special we're doing at Cover My Six. If you own or run a business, I want you to go to covermy6.com to see if you qualify for a no-cost business vulnerability assessment. My business lawyers will meet with you in person, go over your customer contract, your employee handbook, and your other key legal documents, and help you spot any legal minefields that they see. We'll also give you some guidance on how to stop those minefields from blowing up your business. So go to covermy6.com to see if you qualify and to sign up. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show. All right, kids, we're back. I had a question before we get to the lightning round. Talk about 23rd Veteran.
Yeah, so we actually were just talking about a Veteran Edge conference. So I went at the beginning of this year and met a fantastic Marine who had suffered with PTSD. And I was fortunate to kind of never go through such a thing. He was a combat veteran Marine, and Mike had gone through some tough stuff. And he went to look help for everywhere and anywhere. And that help word kept resonating. Well, it resonated, I believe, internally for him to help others, to help for himself. But as a man and as a Marine, you don't need help. Okay, so that's the one thing that veteran hears is help, help, help. No one wants help. I mean, you don't even want help to cross the road, right? You don't want help to carry your bags. Right. So it's a nice, friendly, gentler way of actually helping someone who's suffering to get what they need.
And in the research of 23 veterans, is it true that 130,000 veterans have committed suicide since 9/11?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's probably even far worse stats.
Mind-blowing.
It's crazy because you think, it's funny. I'm trying to think of the veteran's name, and forgive me, Pat Tillman. He was a football player. Yeah. He paid the ultimate sacrifice. He could have made cajillions and millions of dollars, and he gave his life to defend freedom. We take all that for granted, me included, as everyone here growing up, that we just think it's patriotic to put a flag in front of your home. We think it's really cool to have a 4th of July or Memorial Day party, but yet me, especially being a veteran, and Alex, you got to take a step back and truly understand why we have Memorial Day. Why are we celebrating the 4th of July? It's not because we've got fireworks and a party, and I think we've been disillusioned, that, and it gets further and further away. So an organization like 23rd Veteran kind of ties all that back to the roots of really why we're doing this. Mm-hmm. All the way back from 1776, people gave their lives and their fortunes to sign, on Independence Day, giving us an opportunity, just like voting. We think something as simple as voting, and we just take that for granted. We take our lives for granted. And here, this is a great organization, nonprofit organization that puts charitable actions in place and helps veterans transition from that dark place to find, a happy ending.
So the name 23rd Veteran refers to the fact that 22 veterans kill themselves every single day. 22 vets commit suicide every single day. It says the next closest to this is the 23rd veteran. And the founder, Mike Waldron, was a PTSD survivor and had it for years after his combat duty. And so the way I'm imagining it is that the organization is intended to serve someone who could be the 23rd person to kill themselves that day, but won't be because they're being helped.
Correct.
And I think that's beautiful. It's really amazing.
And it's shattering that 22 do a day. Like that's.
Yeah. And that's when I referenced it earlier, is just Mike has a very powerful way because it's specific to him.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. It's specific to him. He had dealt with that as well as other veterans. I mean, there's veterans right now that as we speak that are just conjuring these things in their head, but this is real. This isn't just something that's fake. This isn't something that, whatever, just shut up, it'll go away. It doesn't. And this is a great opportunity to help them. I'm
going to tell you something, man. So I remember to this day, we were in Iraq, and I watched one of my soldiers lose his shit, and it was just, we were in our base, right? We were all just smoking and joking, just hanging out. And what got to him, we had been in Iraq maybe 3-4 months. This was in the summer of 2003. This was before this big uprising, after we took over the place, and there wasn't IEDs, there weren't snipers, there weren't ambushes. What it was you took somebody away from his family and away from his kids and put him into a situation that he thought he was ready for. But it was really just, he was kind of dropped into a platoon of people who he found nothing in common with. The isolation from normal society just got to him, and the boredom. I mean, honestly, like if you ever watch that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, Jarhead. That's it.
Very similar to Grunt.
I thought that movie was so accurate in how it showed people losing their shit in response to just the boredom, right? And then they get paranoid about what their wife is doing back home with the neighbor. They were having regular meltdowns over there. And then when you throw on top of that the fear that comes with the mission that you've got, I'm not surprised at all that veterans come back with PTSD. You know, there's a very palpable stress that they experience over there that nobody prepares them for, you know, whether they see combat or not. So this is a great organization, Brian, and I commend you for being a part of it. And folks, it's 23rdveteran.org. What's the best way for people to help you, Brian?
Without a doubt, visit the website. There's opportunity there to get involved, to learn more about the organization, and I would say education. You know, the website's full of information. Educate yourself, just like that, every 22 days, someone's in a, rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
And, being educated on this is a real thing that, veterans go through.
Yeah. All right. On that somewhat somber note, let's do some lightning round. You ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
All right. Molly Gebler, you go first.
Yes, thank you, Alex Kurtzberg.
What is it, Brian Krusz or Krusz?
Yes, well, we already got that. We already got that. Okay, Brian, are you ready?
Right. Okay, let's see.
What are you binging?
Walking Dead. I just got done with that. So
okay, what are you looking forward to next? Anything? Fleabag won all the awards last night on the Emmys.
Yeah,
I have no idea about it, but
check that out.
Someone told me about Secession. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on HBO. Yeah, that looks like something you like, Molly.
What's it about?
It's like about this it's a family of, I don't know if they're hedge fund managers. They're like it's some New York City,
wealthy family,
super wealthy. It's almost like, it kind of reminds me of like a Trump kind of a family, right? Like just multiple generations of extremely wealthy, like really arrogant asshole people, but who have a lot of drama going on.
Okay.
I want to see that too.
All right. I don't have the HBO. The BO.
Get it?
I don't have the BO.
Get the HBO, dude.
Damn it. Okay. Your perfect day.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, definitely be with my wife and kids. So I probably get up early. I like waking up early. So coffee, the Wall Street Journal.
How early?
Probably about 6:30.
Okay. And
then the kids will come downstairs, and my wife, and maybe we'll get in the car, go to the airport, go to Florida, hang out on the beach. I know the kids and my wife loves the beach, so maybe hang out on the beach all day, grab a nice steak dinner, and I guess I'll be old man Krusz and go to bed at 10.
It's a respectable day. It's a good day.
I love that you went to Florida. No one's ever expand. It's always something in their home. So I love that you took full advantage of your day.
I feel like Brian's given this question some thought.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know.
Okay. What's on your mind?
Oh my gosh. Man, I don't know. What's on my mind? Oh, that's a great question.
Loaded.
I guess I guess it would be my wife, since she just got done mowing and, edging and taking care of my dad's. He had just had open heart surgery. So I guess it'd be making sure my dad's transitioning out and my wife embarrassing me by, doing all that work.
You need to stop and get her some flowers on your way.
Well,
home.
It's so funny. When we moved to Strongsville, we had Ethan was born and she was pregnant with our second. And I got a phone call from the neighbor and he's yelling at me using profanity. And I'm like, what is going on? The gist of the story was my pregnant wife is on a ladder in the back of our yard trimming the trees,
Oh
raking, doing all this physical labor and activity while the other kid's walking around.
And he was saying you should have been doing it.
And he's like, why would your husband make you do this? So he's calling at me. He's calling me, yelling at me. So I guess, yeah, what's on my mind would be my wife is at it again.
Staging you again.
She's done it again.
Okay, so if you didn't own a car wash, what would you be? Let me rephrase. If you weren't a car wash owner, what would you be?
Somehow involved with youth leadership.
Mm.
You know, I think it's important that we need to impact the youth of America. They're going to be around to help and guide us and take care of things. And your millennial statement earlier, we just kind of pass them off as we can't fix them. And I've got plenty of millennials that work for us, and they're really good people. You know, we just got to give them the chance and the opportunity. So I would find myself working some level of impacting youth and youth leadership.
Well, you have plenty of time. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of days in your world that you don't do anything, that you can throw a church youth group or something in there. So awesome. Alex Gertzberg, take it away.
You're stranded on a desert island, shipwrecked for a minimum of 3 months, potentially for the rest of your life. You don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
Could be 3 months.
Stranded on an island.
Could be the rest of your life. You may bring with you any single author's entire bibliography. Who's the author?
Without even a second hesitation, it'd be Simon Sinek.
I love that dude.
Yeah, he's really, really, really good. Yeah, he's
Start
great.
with why.
Start with why. Good leaders eat last.
Yeah.
He
amazing.
gets it. He gets life. You know, and that's where, and maybe some old classics. But
well, you get one author.
Dang.
Yeah,
Interesting that you take a business author to a shipwrecked island, to an island where you're shipwrecked. I like it though. That's serious stuff right there.
Yeah. He's going to start his business on the island.
Have you, I'm sure you have, Brian, seen the Simon Sinek's TED Talk, right? Molly, you've got to see this dude. You think you've got ADD, right? This guy goes up there and except it's an ADD, but it's more like, I thought he was like on cocaine when I first saw him do his thing, but it is so deep. He basically explains why businesses succeed or fail based on how they describe what they do to themselves, their employees, and the public. Unbelievable, this TED Talk, and his books are amazing.
That's great.
Yeah. Same shipwreck, same desert island, same unknown period of time. You may bring with you any single musician's entire discography.
Dave Matthews.
Wow.
Oh,
Without hesitation again, Mom.
Dave Matthews.
I love the man. It's just same thing. You know, his music, like the Beatles, right? If the Beatles, you can play a song just like Dave Matthews, there's never a bad song. I can't think of a bad song, and it's thought-provoking.
Prolific, too. He's got a pretty long, big discography there, right? He's got a lot of songs.
Yeah, exactly. So
keep you busy.
Gets you thinking.
All right. It's a respectable choice.
Okay.
I paused on the other one.
I don't.
You had asked.
You paused on all mine, but Alex says
you
you're like on it, man. You know.
Brian, what is the habit or routine that you do on a regular basis that has given you the most mileage?
Probably my morning routine.
Talk about it.
It's a series of a couple things. First, I take a cold shower. You know how you
it's Alex's
fire on the
favorite.
shower.
Is yours cold from beginning to end, or is it just cold at the end?
No. You know how you normally would turn on the shower, kind of let it heat up a little bit, and meander around, maybe brush your teeth, and then check it out.
That is how I do it.
So I try to jump in there
right off the bat.
Right off the bat, wakes you up, stimulates you, gets you rocking and rolling,
and then you warm up.
And then let the shower warm up to.
Oh, I go the opposite way. I start hot and then I go cold for the last 30 seconds.
Well, there you go. That'll work.
Interesting.
Drink a tall glass of water. Your body's been at rest for a while. I read something, even if it's the Wall Street or a book. Or
the water is good for Alzheimer's and dementia prevention, FYI. Because when you wake up, your brain is dehydrated from losing all your liquids during the evening. during your sleep. So they say don't do your coffee first, do a glass of water first. Because coffee is the opposite, and it's a absorbent beverage. I don't know. So you want to, So that's good for you.
Then I'll read something, and then I'll focus on my day, and then I'll create kind of like a to-do, like 1 or 2 big wins for the day. And they don't have to be monumental. Just, hey, take a look at my day, and I know I got to accomplish this and be there, and I'm going to do X and Y. Just 2 little small things.
Do you do a weekly planner for the week ahead?
It's funny. People, I was just in a panel discussion not too long ago, and I'm prepping for one on Thursday at Kent State for the alumni, and shameless plugs.
Go Flashers.
And I always get the 3-year, 5-year thing. I live in 18 months. I just live in that 18-month rotational period. So I try to plan out monthly.
Okay.
Just kind of some, like I said, the top 4 or 5 main things that I want to accomplish, because you can get in the weeds pretty good by my opinion, by getting out a planner and planning, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, what you're going to do. But as long as just like Simon Sinek, right? His main premise is just the why behind what you do. Mm-hmm. Hey, we need to clean the office. He's not telling you the what, the how, the when. Just we clean the office because the perception here is cleanliness. We want things in order. We don't want to lose anything. So all of the why is factored in. Same thing there. I just look at the month and say, hey, here's what I'm going to focus on. Here's the 2 or 3 big wins for the month, and go at it. Everything else is smaller around, but just have that focus month by month.
And just so everyone knows, I know it's the flashes, not the flashers. I said the flashers, but that's what my daughter just graduated, and that's what we called them, the flashers. So
yeah, it's a different organization.
I don't want somebody listening and saying, oh, that's stupid, Molly. I mean, they can if they want, but I do know. Yeah.
That's on a different street.
Yes. The red light district.
Brian, how would you define a life well lived?
I would say happiness, and that could be even further defined from there. But just, my philosophy is every day is I can put my head on the pillow and know that I've done the best that I can. I haven't squandered or wasted any time throughout the course of the day that I've done. And really, when we talked about Christian faiths and values, is God's given me an opportunity to do good today and to influence everybody and else around us. So I want to make sure I'm not squandering that. I haven't wasted anything. And if I have, then I need to get up and do something quickly to not squander that, but just provide a good opportunity.
Lastly, what is an embarrassing thing about yourself that very few people know, and for extra credit, that no one else knows?
Oh my goodness. Something embarrassing. Holy cow. It's kind of like when you ask at an interview, right? What's your weakness? Oh, do I have any?
My go-to on that is, I just work too damn hard.
Yes.
You get that answer.
I care too much.
I love too hard.
Yeah.
Weakness. I mean, now I'm talking about that too.
Embarrassing thing that few or no people know.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of a good one. I've embarrassed my wife a cajillion thousand times.
Okay, well, what have you done to do that?
That could be acceptable.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's known about this. So as any good recruiter, I would try to, in the Marines, I would try to recruit people, right? So now that I have Sergeant Clean's Car Wash, I want to find, good men and women to kind of join our team. And I was at JCPenney's, and I'm watching this young man this lady was upset about a gift card, so he's handling and taking care, and giving her the pickle and everything. And the next gentleman comes in, and this guy has got a line. And it's around, I remember this was probably a year ago, it was around the Christmas time, the holidays, hustling, busting. This guy's busting his butt, going down. And I'm, next in line. And then here I get there. I'm like, man, you're just hustling. He's answering all these questions. Well, I hand him my business card, and I was like, hey, I don't normally do this, but here's my card. Man, we'd love to have you part of our team and handling, customer concerns and everything like that. And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, okay, got my stuff and left. Well, here he thought I was hitting on him. And he called and said, I saw the wedding ring and everything. Okay, how do we do this? And I'm going, and I'm so naive and just so dumb. And I'm like,
that's hilarious.
How do we do? You just come in for an interview and we talk to you about the company. We'll show you around the car wash. And he's like, no, that's not what I meant. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm red-faced on the phone going, okay, well, that's fine. No judgment here. Hey, everyone's got different prerogatives and good for you, but I'm married and I'm going to go a different route.
And straight.
If you're ever to join Sergeant Clean's Car Wash, we'd love to have you. You had great customer service. So
that is
that was awesome. That was embarrassing.
You're like, and I appreciate the perseverance too. I appreciate the follow-up. That is good customer service.
That's great.
Could you just imagine, like, he probably spent hours and hours like picking up the phone and no.
Yeah, well, that's funny. That's my wife and I similar. I was a recruiter for the Marines. So long story short, we did like background checks on everyone joining, the police and the double check to make sure that they haven't killed anybody or, any burglars.
That's always good.
Well, they got the background checked, and my wife's mother worked at the county courts in Wayne County. Well, her girlfriends were working the table and thought, aha, this is a good catch for Melissa. And I'm answering these questions. You ever been married? No. Do you have any kids? No. We went on and on and on. Well, I got a phone call at the police station, random phone call, and it was one of the ladies that worked there and said, do you know Pam? Yeah. Well, she's got a daughter, and she's nice, and she's really nice. And I'm like, okay.
Wait, that's how you met your wife?
And that's how we met. We got so I gave her my recruiter's cell phone number in case she was crazy because they kept describing her as nice. I'm like, oh man, she doesn't, you usually don't describe nice 15 times in a row. Like something's wrong with her, right? And she's not with anybody. So I'm like, here we go.
Oh, man.
Well, she had called like in embarrassment, says my wife. And it was the best day. We met. It was, now I'm going to get a little hillbilly on you guys. But we had met in a Walmart parking lot.
Nice.
I was in Walmart getting groceries down there. I lived in Worcester, and she was coming out of Maurice's, which is a girls' or actually a department store, I guess guys and girls, and walked out, and we were talking on the phone and said, well, I'm at Walmart. Well, I'm at Maurice's. And then we ended up spending several hours in the parking lot, and I had to throw away a lot of dairy, but yeah, similar. So that does happen, I guess. I guess you can get connected with the phone.
Oh, my gosh.
13 years later, here we are.
Oh, my gosh. Although I do love the Kohl's or whatever. That was funny.
JCPenney's, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Molly, I do officially declare this podcast episode a total success.
Yes,
what do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So you want to go to www.sgtclean.com.
That's right.
And I'm assuming you are on social media everywhere.
Yes.
And we want to get your car cleaned, take a picture of it, and tag them so that everybody can see your clean cars, especially me, and especially in the wintertime.
Amen, sister. Folks, here's what you should be doing right now. You ought to look on your phone or your computer or wherever you're listening to this podcast
Your device, right? And find a way to get to iTunes and then give us a little review, give us a little rating, tell your friends, go to our Facebook page, hit like, go to the Best Podcast Ever, hit subscribe, do like one, maybe two of the 17 things I just asked you to do. Yeah.
All right. And because Molly and I, we love this, right? Mm-hmm. Don't we, Molly?
We do.
Don't we love talking to people?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And Molly confided in me earlier that if we don't get at least 1,000 likes, she is going to run naked through the streets of Chagrin Falls.
No, people will want that, so they're not going to like.
You're right. Oh, it was the other way. She's not going to run naked through the streets of Chagrin Falls if we don't get 1,000 likes from this episode.
Yes.
Nobody wants.
I will leave the show. I will leave the show if we don't get it.
Shit got dark there, Molly. I was trying to be funny. Do that, folks. Show some love.
And I'd like to know what you're doing while you're listening. I always like to know what our listeners are doing while they're listening. Unless it's dirty,
and then don't tell us.
I want to know that too. It's all right. I don't judge. There's no judging here.
Folks, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we thank you for listening. And remember to check out the Gertzberg Law Firm if you're starting, running, growing, or transitioning a business, or if you need to create or update your wills, trusts, or estate plan. Our firm and our lawyers are among the highest caliber and well-recognized professionals in the field. We are veteran-owned, have the highest rankings from Super Lawyers and the other key attorney rating organizations. And we were recently added to the coveted Weatherhead 100. More than being respected by our peers, our clients rely on us to successfully defend them in court, help them avoid the courtroom with our Cover My Six service, protect their assets, and for many non-legal business services like recruiting and business development. More than just litigators, we are trusted advisors, problem solvers, and growers of businesses. Let us help you and your company. Call us or find us online to learn more. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.